Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. Therefore, we can say that despite the assurances of the Wall Street Journal that the new Republican majority and their speaker, Boehner, or whatever his name may be, this character who weeps all the time, actually probably mentally unstable, quite possibly an alcoholic based on, or a substance abuser based on these samples of behavior, that he will do no harm? No, that's not guaranteed, dear Wall Street Journal editorial board. If it comes to default, that will bring down the whole thing. That will bring down the entire house of cards of the international floating rate, derivatives-based, globalized, hot money, speculative casino economy. And maybe that's how divine providence will work out for us this time around. But certainly do no harm is not guaranteed. In terms of the constitutional fetish, reading this aloud, some scholars say the Tea Party has an atemporal view of this document, which ignores the changes of the Civil War, the New Deal, and the Civil Rights era. You should throw in the Progressive era, too, things like the direct election of senators and the coming of a progressive income tax. The progressive income tax is a demand of the Populist Party meeting in Omaha, Nebraska, 1890, and a better group of anti-finance capital activists you would be hard put to find, not like these Austrians of today, right? I'd take an 1890s Omaha populist over a 2011 completely addle-brained Austrian ideologue any day of the week, right? They have nothing to do with the American tradition. They're a foreign body. One Austrian was enough, as we say. So here we have an interesting Washington Post, of course, commenting on this debate. We have a Yale professor who says that the Constitutional Convention can be described as a pro-tax rebellion, that the government of the Articles of Confederation was too weak, couldn't tax anybody, therefore was incapable of dealing with the problems. The country was about to fall apart. The British had a death watch. We were headed back under the British imperial colonial yoke. Congressman Nadler of New York City says a lot of the Tea Party think that the Constitution is the Articles of Confederation. Well, no, Congressman Nadler, it's much worse. Not the Articles of Confederation, but the Confederate States of America Constitution of 1861. Maybe next week we can organize a reading of certain key parts of the Confederate Constitution, and you'll see that the mental map used by these reactionaries is indeed the CSA Constitution, Montgomery, Alabama, 1861. Notice General Welfare Clause completely disappears. Term limits are in. Protective tariff is banned in the Constitution. No protectionism, only free trade. This is where you have free trade, not in the U.S., but in the CSA. Charles Krauthammer, neocon reactionary, says that constitutionalism is the basis of a new conservatism. Well, only with the help of doublethink, dear Mr. Krauthammer. And again, the Wall Street Journal editorial, January 5th, merely taking the gavel, Mr. Boehner will fulfill his most important mandate, which is stopping the damage done by the two Pelosi Congresses to adapt the Hippocratic Oath. There will be no more economic harm. Now, by that, these guys mean no new taxes, no new regulations. How about default? How about a worldwide panic when they go to the brink? And maybe certain short sellers around the world are already lining up to short the dollar, to short U.S. Treasury bills as these lunatics now begin to throw their weight around. Now, this, of course, comes in the midst of a sharp right turn by the Obama administration. Obama is rushing. He's throwing all of the ballast overboard, all the ideological ballast of hope, change, and all the rest of this garbage, all the progressive causes being dumped, being jettisoned in order to shake hands and grovel before these reactionaries. Let's just look at the obvious appointments. Now, we have William Daley of the corrupt Chicago machine, probably has blackmail material on Obama. This guy is an employee most recently of J.P. Morgan Chase, the heart of the beast. J.P. Morgan Chase, remember, remains the heart and soul of the Anglo-American finance cartel. Not Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan Chase. And you'll see it when push comes to shove, if it does, and it's likely too soon. This is somebody who was not only against Obama's health care, well, I can understand that. He's against any kind of financial regulation. This we cannot share. And he is an exponent of free trade, gang, NAFTA. This means that Daley is sitting in the position to superintend more free trade sellouts, more exporting of jobs, more runaway shop, more giant sucking sound as we open up U.S. markets to the competition of sweatshop labor, coolie labor, rock-bottom wages in these low-wage economies, and then try to match that here. It can't be done. And there are plenty of Republicans. Take, Dan Coates and the new senator from Ohio, Portman, I think his name is. Those guys, absolute free trade fanatics in states where that's going to hurt those states the most. Goodbye, Indiana. Goodbye, Ohio, and goodbye, Illinois, with William Daley in there. And also Gene Sperling takes over the economy czar job from Larry Summers. This guy is also free trade, deregulation fanatic. His contribution in the late years of Clinton was to abolish welfare as we knew it. That is to say, to take an axe to the Social Security Act of 1935 and abolish that just when we needed it. And this is the worst thing Clinton did. Sperling was right in the middle of it. Gibbs is also out. Well, you can get the idea, right? Gibbs is obviously damaged goods. So it's a strong right turn by Obama. And I don't know what these left liberals think. Dear left liberals, this is a message to you saying you do not exist. You are worth nothing. You count for absolutely zero in Obama's calculations. You have no place to go. You'll be there when he needs me. The base is not a problem. The base is not an issue, we hear from various reactionary commentators and Wall Street Democrat commentators. Well, dear Democratic left liberal base, if you exist, you better show it now. You better act up. You better field a candidate against Obama, or the dimensions of the betrayal that we can now see are simply unspeakable, ineffable, incalculable, unbelievable. We're going to see the destruction of Social Security, Medicare and Medicaid, unemployment insurance, and everything else within the next 2 years, all for the sake of Barkey, the Wall Street puppet, and his reactionary Republican friends, and William Daley, Chief of Staff, right in the middle. We'll be back in a second on World Crisis Radio.